The very requested, highly anticipated side-by-side showdown is here between the Strolee Double V2, Zoe Twin V2, and Bombi Twin. In this video, I'm going to help you decide which of these strollers is right for you. I have discount codes for all of them, and I can't wait to jump in. If you're new here, I'm Emily. I'm the stroller mom. I'm a mom of 3 and a car seat passenger safety tech, and I provide honest reviews of strollers and baby gear from a mom's perspective, as a mom who actually uses the products. If you haven't already, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and shop through the links below because I do have discount codes for all of these strollers. This video is not made in partnership with any of these brands, but it is sponsored by Kudos, which is a diaper that's made from 100% cotton liner, chlorine-free, fragrance-free, and is a diaper I love using with my kids, and I can't wait to tell you more about it a little bit later in this video. The Zoe Twin V2 was the stroller that started me on my love of side-by-side double strollers. It was lightweight, car seat compatible, had upright seats, amazing canopies, and I just really love this stroller. I got it right after I had my 3rd baby, and it made my life so much easier. Since then, the market has exploded, and now there are so many options to choose from, it can feel very overwhelming as a parent. I actually have a whole side-by-side spreadsheet where I break down all of the stats and everything you need to know about all the side-by-side double strollers on the market, from joggers to lightweight and twin strollers, so be sure to check that out in the description below. It is free. But let's jump into these 3 strollers and help you decide which one is right for your family. Starting out with price. The Strolee Double retails for $5.29, and I do have a discount code, so see the description on that. And what you get for that price is the stroller, as you see here, with snack trays. You also get a rain cover, a parent cup holder, and a lightweight travel bag. I will say it's not any padding or anything like that, but it is like a dust type bag. And then for the Zoe Twin, it also retails for $5.29, and I do have a discount code. You get this stroller as you see here, except you don't get a snack tray. That does have to be purchased separately, but I do love the Zoe snack tray. It does come with a bumper bar that independently opens on both sides, a parent cup holder, and then you also get 2 kid cup holders as well as a snack cup. Where that is really helpful is when you have to use your car seat adapter, you can still have a cup holder for your child, and that is definitely something I have loved about this stroller. The Bombi Twin is actually the most affordable of these strollers, and it retails for $500. It is on sale right now, and my code does stack, so see the description for that. But what you get for it is the stroller, as you see here, along with a dust bag and a parent cup holder. Recently, the diaper brand we've been using since our first baby changed its supplier, and after trying it, it was no longer going to be a good option for our family. When I was looking for a new diaper, something that was very important to me was finding one that had clean ingredients as well as being very effective. I also really liked, after trying a few different brands, that the one we had previously been getting came with a month supply, so I didn't have to worry about it. And that was when I found Kudos. Kudos actually is a super unique diaper because on top of being very effective and dry, having amazing blowout protection with this stretch, it also is made with an 100% cotton liner, which means the materials touching your baby's most sensitive area are cotton and not plastic, which is something I love. They also don't have any chlorine, any fragrances or lotions, and it has patent double dry technology to keep your baby dry all through the night. On top of that, their wipes are EWG certified, made with 99% water, and are very thick. And the best part is Kudos gave me a discount code for my subscribers to be able to try them out, and they come in a month's supply right to your door. But don't worry, if you run out or you're traveling and you still want to get the diapers you know and love using with your baby, you can get them at Target, which is so nice. So be sure to check out the description below. Now there is a lot to cover, so we're gonna go kind of quickly through the features, starting from the top all the way down. I will say I do have full reviews of the Zoe Twin and the Bombi Twin. Maybe I'll have one of the Strolee coming soon, but check those out if you want a more in-depth review of either of those strollers. And starting out with the handlebar, you have a leatherette material that actually feels the most premium on the Bombi. You kind of have a very similar material on the Zoe and the Strolee. However, with the Strolee and the Zoe, you do get an adjustable handlebar, so it can move up and down. Now, technically the Zoe's is a little taller than all the other ones. However, I will say the way the brake is like a bar, occasionally if you have it higher, that also means you're closer and more prone to kick it. I will say I never had any issues with kicking on the Bombi, even though it's not adjustable and it is technically the shortest handlebar. It's at a good length from the stroller, so I think for the most part parents will be really comfortable with that. And then the Strolee is kind of honestly pretty similar to the Zoe in that. Now I will say with parent organizers, I will link my favorite, because Bombi does not sell one, down below that I have here. I am obsessed with the Zoe Strolley organizer. It goes right on top of the bar and it is the easiest to access, especially with like how they do their canopies. I think it's worth everything. And I really dislike the stroller organizer on the Strolley. It comes under the handlebar and just kind of drags, and it doesn't need to. Like, you could pull it up tighter. And honestly, if you're gonna go with the Strolley, I would buy the Zoe's organizer, or even maybe my universal one on Amazon. So that's just something to note there. All of these strollers do have really nice canopies with peekaboo windows that do technically stay open. So the Strolleys has a magnet here. Zoe's, you do have to take the time to like roll it up, but you do have the, like, it's not gonna close because you have this little clasp here. And then on the Bombi, you just pull the fabric over, and honestly, I've never had an issue with it blowing close. In regards to the canopies, you do have nice extensions with zippers on both. So the Bombis goes basically down to the handlebar, super nice. You have the Zoe's here. It also has really good coverage, and then you also have an extension here on the Strolley. Now, as you can see here, the canopy coverage is definitely gonna be the best on the Bombi and the Zoe. The Strolley still is not bad. It just comes a little closer to your child, but I found overall, especially if you have a child that's sitting up, the coverage was pretty good. Now, the canopy does not touch your hands on the Strolley. It does not touch your hands on the handlebar with the Zoe, but it does with the Bombi. So that's just something to note. What I will say is, because of how like rigid the Bombi canopy is I just kind of keep it up like this when not extended, and then it doesn't touch my hands. So there's your tip there. Moving on to the seat backs. All of these strollers have upright seats, which is great. In the single travel stroller category, you start to get really reclined seats on travel strollers, but in the side-by-side category, it's actually really good. Now, something I love about all of these strollers is they're super easy for your kiddos to get in and out of, because they have little footrest. Like, it's just easy for them to get into the seats. Now, the tallest seat back's actually gonna be the Bombi at 18.5 inches. Then you have 18 inches on the Zoe and 17.5, with the shortest seat back being on the Strolley. Now, in regards to weight capacity, the Zoe and the Strolley will both hold 60 pounds in each seat, and the Bombi will hold 55. Now, I will say, if you're gonna be pushing two heavier children in any of these strollers, I would go Bombi. We'll talk about that more in the push, but while they have this capacity, that doesn't mean it's going to have an easy push, but it is nice, especially for families who are looking for strollers for Disney, which all of these strollers are in fact Disney approved, which is amazing. In regards to buckles, you have magnetic buckles on both the Bombi and the Strolley. They're both super easy to use. I really have no complaints. I also will say I'm not like a biggest magnetic buckle fan. I'm great with the classic buckles on the Zoe. They stay together. That's the most important thing for me. I'm not having to do a bunch of different pieces while having a squirmy baby, and I think they do a really good job. You have no rethread harnessing on the Bombi and the Strolley. You do have manual rethread on the Zoe. Now, that doesn't always bother me a ton. I mean, I like to see it on all strollers. I feel like it's a feature that's becoming more and more standard in strollers, but when you have two kids of like each child has their own seat, it ends up not being as big of a deal than if you're like me with a single stroller, and sometimes my 4-year-old's using it, sometimes my 1-year-old's using it, and so it's just nice to have easy adjustment there. Now, let's talk about the bumper bars. You have one bumper bar that's connected here in the middle on the Zoe. I obviously have the snack trays on, but it essentially functions the same. You can see the Strolley's bumper bar, which their snack trays just attach right to the bumper bar, and then Bombi has a single bumper bar. They have heard parents' feedback, and they are working on one to have like a middle bumper bar, like the two independent, because parents are saying they want that. I'm gonna say my opinion on this is that it really doesn't make that big of a difference. I get asked this all the time in DMs. This bar does not provide that much of a barrier between your children to keep them from hitting each other. If they are tired and they want to hit each other, they still will. Like, we definitely found that that was the case in any side-by-side double stroller. But I will say the Bombi having the single bumper bar does make it more compact when folded, which you'll see in just a minute, and is something I really like. Now, something to note on both the Zoe and the Bombi is the way their snack tray and bumper bars function. It's actually a lot easier to get your child in and out if you're using the cup holders and the snack tray. This is because you just open it and it opens out, which is really nice. You're not like dumping your kids' snacks on the ground. I know this from Uvista parents. The same is true with the Bombi. You can see you can just kind of open it out on either side. Now the Strolley, you open it up. So because of that, your child's snacks and cups are gonna have to like be removed every single time you do that. And I will say it definitely was a little inconvenient as I was testing this stroller. Now you have really good lower footrest on the Strolley and the Zoe. Now the Bombi does not have an official lower footrest, but my kids just put their feet on the bar, and my baby right now, she's still using the calf support. So it's like you kind of have to just see. It's probably my biggest downside now that they fixed all the other things on the Bombi, but it's okay. It is just a part of it, and there's always going to be trade-offs on everything. Now let's talk about the reclines, because they all have basically the same recline mechanism. Very easy to do. And you get a newborn recline on the Bombi on both seats, making this a great twin option and a stroller you can use from birth right out of the box. I love strollers you can use from birth right out of the box without having to use a car seat. I think it is just amazing. The Zoe you can start using, they say, at 3 months, but I will say the Zoe and the stroller recline is basically the same, and it's fine, especially if you don't have a newborn baby. It could work for sure. You have pockets on the back of the seats for both the Strolee and the Zoe right here that you could easily put your phone in. They're kind of hidden when you're using the parent organizers. And then you can roll up the back of the seat for added airflow. Now, the original Bombi, if you watch my full review of Bombi, did not have mesh on the back of the seat. That's the version I have right here. It does have a zipper pocket, which is kind of nice. However, they heard that feedback and they have already updated it. Now let's talk about car seat compatibility, because that is something actually all of these strollers are pretty good with. So the Strolee Double, you do have car seat compatibility. I have it right here with a Graco car seat. This is the Graco Kiko adapter. Although I will say it has been sold out for a while, the Nuna adapter that works with like Maxi Cosi and Cybex is still in stock. Now the biggest thing to note on the Strolee is if you have the car seat adapter attached, because of its unique fold, it has like this tri-fold, it doesn't really close with the car seat adapter attached. So you're gonna have to take it off every single time you're putting it into your car. Now that is not the case with the other strollers. You can fold them with either of the adapters attached. So that's something to note there. You have the exact same compatibility as the Strolee. So Kiko, Graco, Maxi Cosi, Nuna, 2 different adapters that they sell. This is the Graco Kiko adapter. Now Bombi actually has a really unique setup because they are actually a great twin option. You can do 2 infant car seat, which is so rare to find on a side-by-side double stroller. It's just because it's harder to make it fit through doors. And they are going to have adapters coming very soon, depending on when you're watching this. Check down in the description for Nuna, Maxi Cosi, Cybex, those adapters. Then if you're looking to use it with just 1 child in infant car seat, they have a strap style adapter, which is still very secure and something I didn't like at first, but here's what I will say. It is very universal. Right here I have it with the Joy Nutmeg. I've used it with Nuna, I've used it with Graco, I've used it with Kiko. Because of the strap style, you're still able to have a very secure install, and it can easily fold. It's like very minimal. You're not having to travel with any extra parts. So I really like the adapter on the Bombi. Now let's talk about push, because this is definitely a really big deciding factor, and what plays into that is the stroller's weight. So the lightest stroller is actually gonna be the Strolee at 22 pounds, the Zoe at 23 pounds, and then the Bombi at 28 pounds. So it is definitely the heaviest option. But I will say, as someone who has pushed both of these, all of these strollers in a lot of different terrains, the Bombi pushes the best right out of the box. So while yes, you're gaining weight, you also are gaining a better push in a variety of terrains. I also have the big wheels, they sell them. It makes it really heavy. And so I personally have found that I'm really happy with just the regular wheels out of the box. But the beauty of having all-terrain or big wheel options is if it's not enough, you have another option to upgrade it to. So that's something to note on the Bombi. Now the Zoe also has the all-terrain wheels, and they are worth every single penny. I love the all-terrain wheels on the Zoe. Now they do add a little bit of weight. It's still not as heavy as the Bombi, but I think they're worth it. I found that the wheels right out of the box were not enough for the Zoe. Just when we were on gravel and grass and like all the different terrains, you needed like a little bit more go to be able to push. Now, something that's super unique about the Zoe is they actually have 2 wheels on both of the front tires, and this definitely helps going over curbs and bumps. It makes the stroller not jolt forward, which is unfortunately a problem with a lot of other side-by-side strollers, and I think that's something that is really well done on Zoe's part. Now the Strolee Doubles push. This stroller has definitely given me the most issues with the push. From the first version, which they actually had to take off the market because of the push, to my second version, which is this one, the V2, on our 3rd or 4th walk with children well under the weight limit and nothing in the basket, the wheel just broke in half. So they did eventually get back to me, and they did send a new one right away. Their customer service ended up being great, but it took them about a week to get back to me, and the stroller was not usable. If this was my only stroller, that's a really big downside. Now, I don't know how often this happens. I could have just had a faulty wheel. Now that I've had the new wheels and talking to several of my followers on Instagram, and that is partially why I've waited so long to even give my review of Strolee, because I want to be objective, but I'm also not going to lie to you guys and tell you that I haven't had pretty major issues with this stroller. Now, I have been testing it since they sent the new wheel, and I've tried to duplicate that problem again. I haven't been able to. It does handle curbs a little better, and I've heard that they're working on all-terrain wheels, but as of now, they don't exist. This stroller, what I will say, is probably better from a push standpoint as a lightweight travel stroller, not as much as an everyday. Now, I know some of my followers have been using it as an everyday, and it has worked for them, and that really just depends on like what your lifestyle is like. But you do only have one small wheel in the front. There's no all-terrain options at this point, and so it's done okay as I've been using it since the wheel has gotten fixed, but it's not been my favorite push out of these. If you're looking for the best push, I know you're gonna be adding weight, but it is the Bombi, and then you get the Zoe with the all-terrain wheels giving you the next level, and then the Strolee. But you get the least amount of weight with the Strolee, which is super, super nice. Let's talk about baskets, because it's actually really interesting. The Zoe only holds 10 pounds in the basket, but it has a lot of space, and I've probably put more in it. It's really easy to access, which I think is super nice. You have like these panels here. You can load it very full. I have had no issues with the basket. The Bombi's basket holds 20 pounds, so the next highest, and it is very sturdy. I've loaded this basket. The access is amazing. I've been really happy with that. Now, the Strolee's basket can hold 30 pounds, so the most. But interestingly enough, it is the smallest basket out of all of these. It's the hardest access from the back. You really have to access it from the front, but I just think the materials and like the access is not as good as these other options. So I would just weigh like how much weight are you actually putting in your basket. The brakes on all of these strollers are flip-flop friendly, with my least favorite brake being the Zoe's. It's a bar that goes across the back, and you just really have to kind of jam your foot. And sometimes if you don't get it up all the way, it just will like drag on the locking mechanism. The Bombi's is really super easy to use and over to the side, which I like because you then don't kick it at all. Theirs is probably my favorite brake, and then the Strolee's is right here in the middle. I haven't really found myself kicking it, but it is super easy to use. Now let's talk about fold. The Strolee and the Zoe both have two-handed fold, with the Bombi having a one-handed auto fold. So we'll just start off with the Bombi. You just push two buttons here, and it like folds on itself, which is super nice. And it very easily stands when folded. The Zoe is two hands in the middle, and you just pop it in half. I will say the trick I have learned with the Zoe is it's better if you recline the seats, which I did not do. And then there's a latch here on the side. Now I have the all-terrain wheels, and so it is a little bit bigger with that. Now, something to note with the Zoe is it doesn't really stand when folded. I've heard some Instagram followers who say if you lock it and you do this and that, it will stand. I have just in general found it doesn't stand. So sometimes I'll just put the stroller like this, and then it kind of does stand on its own, but you then have like your materials on the side. So that's it there. Now to fold the stroller, you have a tri-fold. So you're gonna do two triggers on the side, and then you kind of pull it back, and it folds in on itself. Now you have a locking mechanism on the Zoe, so when you grab it, it stays together, and then in the handle, the Bombi automatically locks, and to unfold it, you'll just push the buttons. The Strolee does not, so if you grab it by the handlebar, I did notice sometimes the stroller would open, so you'll definitely wanna grab it by the bumper bar if you're doing that. Now it has a kickstand, so it will in theory stand when folded, but I will tell you more often than not, mine does not stand. I don't know if it's because I have the parent organizer on it, if I have the snack trays, but I'm telling you, more often than not, mine does not stand. So I have to lean it against something, but maybe I have a defective model on this too. And now you can see here, the most compact is gonna be the Strolee, especially if you take the bumper bar off, then the Zoe, and then the Bombi, but the Bombi does stand the best when folded. To open the Stroller, you're just gonna pull it, and it pops open here, and you kind of have to like pop it on the sides there. So that's kind of how you do that one. The Zoe, you're gonna undo this latch on the side, and then you just pull it open. And then the Bombi, you're actually just going to push the two buttons and pull it up. And same thing, you just kind of pop it open like that. One last thing on the Zoe, because I think this is a factor and it's the only stroller that does this. The Zoe can turn into a trio or a quad stroller. So if you are a mom with 3 under 3, it is one of the best options, or 4 under 4, to be able to transport multiple children. You can add a second seat to either of the stroller, either with a trio or with a quad on their website. And that could be a really big deciding factor when picking one of these strollers. So who are each of these strollers best for? I think if you are a twin parent, if you're you're looking for one that's gonna be the best for everyday and occasional travel, I would go with the Bombi Twin. You get those newborn reclines, you could do 2 car seat adapters, you get some upgrades, you get a good basket, a good canopy, and a really easy fold. Yes, it's a little heavier, but I flew with this stroller to Florida and Disney with my 3 children, one of the flights by myself, and it was fine navigating through the airport. Don't get me wrong, some airlines are really sticky about stroller weight, but none of these would technically meet American Airlines 20-pound stroller rule, so you really have to hope those people just take pity on you, and often they do. The Zoe Twin is gonna be a great option for families who need that 3rd seat, that 4th seat, want something that's super lightweight with great canopies, good car seat adapters. I mean, the snack tray is amazing on this stroller, and I really do like that, like when I'm doing it with my Nuna Pippa car seat, I have that really easy access for my older child to get in, and then you also have the all-terrain wheels, which is nice, but you do have to build that into your cost. And then the Strolee Double. While it's my least favorite of these 3 options, I do think there are some families that do want the lightest weight possible stroller, having a snack tray with car seat adapters. The seats are upright, the canopies are good. It does offer a lot of the modern features like no rethread harnessing and magnetic buckles. And so if you're willing to accept just kind of some of the trade-offs, like not having as great basket access, you can't fold with the car seat adapters attached, it may be a good option for certain families. I do have discount codes for all of these down in the descriptions. Let me know what questions you have, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.